Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. Well, I got to give this one to you. That's coming here again, straight out of St. Louis, in one of our suburban municipalities, Shrewsbury. That had this, there was an event on Sunday. I had never heard of this event before. Of course, I'm out of that age, catchman, to know what these young people are doing these days. But chaos erupted out in Shrewsbury, Missouri on Sunday at an event called the 6-7 or 6-7 event, where teenagers are getting together. We do have Juneteenth that's coming up, the emancipation of slavery that is celebrated this weekend, but I was not familiar with this 6-7, June 6-7 event that takes place with these teenagers. And of course, a bunch of teenagers galvanized, of course, a bunch of teenagers of color, Black, African-American teenagers, whatever you want to call them, and chaos erupted, and it's embarrassing, and it scared the hell out of a lot of people. But there's been a panacea of violence and craziness that has been going on for years now. Whenever we are having these holiday celebrations and people of color, Black people, are getting together, it goes from a celebratory situation into a chaotic, disruptive situation. And sometimes it's gun violence and even homicides and murders that take place. But we got to talk about what's going on with us social culturally. People, we have to have a real conversation about our young Black youth today. They are out of control. No discipline, no direction towards education, positive truth seeking, oneness with God, no obedience, no rule following, etc. Many of these kids today are raising themselves. Fatherless homes, immature, inexperienced, welfare thinking mothers. We Black folks need to take a look in the mirror and see the truth. The truth walks in his own shoes, eats his own flesh, and it never wavers. These kids today in our urban inner city communities that are in the 9th grade are reading on a 4th grade level, whether it's Chicago, St. Louis public school system, Philadelphia. With the advancements of information and technology today, there is no way many of these kids will be able to keep up with the world's fast-paced changes and survive on their own. These kids are living day to day, chasing the bag by any means necessary, not afraid to cross the line of criminality, whether they're 10 years old, 12 years old, or 14. We cannot turn a blind eye to that. Black folks, we need to be protesting the inhumanity and the disservice that we are causing towards each other, the self-hatred. Education is the access to our freedom, or to their freedom. The day you stop learning is the day you stop living. These kids come from these broken homes with no discipline, no structure, or respect for other humans. They have lost the casualness or callousness about life and its humanity. These kids have lost the preciousness and precociousness about life. For example, these kids today refer to their mothers, and when they're talking to them on the phone or in person, I've seen this firsthand. They refer to their moms or their mothers as bro or gang. How have we reached this pinnacle and this point in life where a 10 or 12-year-old with a 31-year-old mother who's young and immature, you got immaturity raising immaturity, and she allows her son or daughter to refer to her as bro or gang. What in the hell has happened to the young Black culture of today? Dr. King and Malcolm X would be ashamed of how our young Black youth are behaving today. If you are consumed with reality TV shows, social media fights, and crazy altercations, then something is mentally wrong with you. We as Black people should be protesting ignorance, Black on Black crime, gun violence, inept inner city schools, poor, derelict, and depressing neighborhoods. Don't just galvanize and protest when a white cop shoots and kills a Black person. And if you think that you can ignore these young Black kids with this negative and destructive behavior, you better think again. Crime has no borders around it. It is not based on zip code, city versus county, white versus Black, young versus old. Nowadays, folks can get to any place at any time thanks to the advancements of transportation like Uber or Lyft. In this story that I'm going to tell you about, if you hadn't heard about it from Sunday, a 12-year-old girl caught an Uber or a Lyft over to the Shrewsbury Sky Zone when she saw on social media these fights were taking place, and took a butcher knife, getting ready to be prepared, I guess, to chop somebody up over there. What kind of mental state is that 12-year-old in to go from Florissant, a 35-minute ride, a $30 ride, to go potentially harm somebody and end up in jail or juvenile? And who paid for the Uber or the Lyft? She was 12 years old. So that's not a reflection on just how screwed up she is. That tells you how screwed up her family dynamics are. A 12-year-old Black female takes a butcher knife and catches an Uber or a Lyft 35 minutes away to go to be part of this riot or this disruptive behavior that took place on Sunday. So many of these kids have a self-esteem issue. They are misguided by the negative brainwashing of social media. The phone and technology has replaced us as parents of many of these kids. They can find out about anything at the push of a button. The future of our young Black youth are in trouble. The self-destructive behavior is becoming more apparent each day, and the pipeline to prison or the cemetery is increasing at an exorbitant rate. Something has to change. Too many guns on the streets and in the hands of self-destructive people. You can't get in trouble if you are at the library. And finally, how many holiday celebrations do we need, Black folks? Here's the hypocrisy. Each holiday in the urban cities, Black people get together under the auspices of getting together to show love and support of each other. However, by the end of the day or midday or by that night, every year, these holidays turn into a bloodbath of self-destruction, Black on Black crime. When will it end? So that's a precursor to this story I want to give you real quick that happened on Sunday. It's an embarrassment out in Shrewsbury, and with 300 to 350 Black kids went out there, couldn't get into place. It was to capacity, and they decided to be disruptive not only to the Sky Zone place, but to Aldi's and Walmart. And just think if you had your children there, how chaotic and scary that would have been to see all these kids. It's been on social media. They were throwing rocks at the police, cussing them out, using a cuss word with young Black folks today, male or female, is very common. So this happened on Sunday, June 7th at the Sky Zone Trampoline Park on Watson Road in Shrewsbury, Missouri. The event was tied to the 6-7 internet meme, basically a viral trend where people celebrate June 7th. Never heard of it. Sky Zone was hosting a 6-7 event, but chaos erupted outside as 300 to 350 unaccompanied kids and teens, age ranges between 10 to 17 years old. Remember, unaccompanied, so their parents dropped them off or whatever. 10 years old, who would drop a 10-year-old off alone? And in today's time where fights and gun violence takes place, you would feel that comfortable to drop your kid off at a place like that, at a public place where you got 300, 400 kids. I couldn't do it. So they were ages 10 to 17, were waiting in line after the indoor trampoline park reached capacity. With temperatures around 90 degrees, it didn't take long for tempers to flare and at least 10 fights broke out. The crowd scattered in all directions after officers arrived, and juveniles then entered nearby stores, including Walmart, Aldi's, and My Place. Police say they caused damage and threatened customers and employees, leading to early business closure. So these kids went to other stores and started threatening employees and customers and throwing stuff at the police. Where we got the children of the corn, where are we headed? Why aren't we protesting this crazy behavior? Why are we not protesting that? The juvenile crowd then began throwing rocks, yelling obscenities, and making threats towards police officers. Now, it happens if one of those kids had a gun, or a police officer felt like his life is in danger and shot one of these kids. Oh, we're gonna protest that. We're going to protest that, but we're not going to protest the behavior that led to this chaos and disruption. Let's protest that in these homes and get these kids together. This is crazy and embarrassing for Black professionals. As for the 12-year-old girl, police seized a butcher knife from a 12-year-old girl who said she took an Uber from Florissant to get involved in the fight after seeing it on social media. She said she brought the weapon for protection. Here again, if you're watching reality shows and fighting and social media fights and all that, something is mentally wrong with you. If that's the kind of vibration and energy you want to bring into your space, you're not going to have a positive, good life. Police said the crowd was eventually dispersed by 9:30 p.m. and no injuries were reported, thank God. Several minors were detained and later released to their parents. How could they be released to their parents? Their parents should have been there with them if you're 10, 12 years old. I can see it's 17 if you're driving on your own. And then what 10-year-olds shouldn't be around partying with 17-year-olds anyway? There's too many kids that are raising themselves. They come from absolutely horrible, dysfunctional households. They take that dysfunction to school. These young teachers are not prepared to deal with all of this kind of dysfunctionality that's going on. And so the schools are all disrupted. There's not room for learning. And then after school, they go out into these communities and the chaos and disruption continues. That's why I talk about manifesting your truth in a positive and righteous and God-fearing way. So this happened on Sunday. We got Juneteenth coming up. We got the 4th of July coming up, Labor Day. Let's see how this summer holds out. Yeah, people have always had the stereotype that when it gets hot and get heated, things start to happen in a very negative and criminal way. Hopefully it doesn't. Let's galvanize and stay together, and let's protest this inhumane behavior and try to recapture, mentor these young people into a positive life. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience.